Hi, my name's Sarah from Dolls and Daydreams, and today we're going to be talking about button joints. They are actually surprisingly easy, and I'm going to tell you all about them and how to make them right now. So you have your dollies and they call for button joints. Don't get scared, these are fantastic. You now have a poseable doll. Your arms can move or your legs can move. Sometimes patterns will have both areas moving at the same time, which is fun. You can make them sit and stand, make them reach up to the sky. It's really lovely. So don't be afraid, it's much easier than you think. And of course, you can always make them without buttons. When choosing your buttons, always pick buttons with 2 holes. I really like them. It causes a much better stability for the structure of your doll. You will also need a doll needle. They look like tiny little swords to me. My smaller dolls, I'll still use a really long doll needle. It is just so much easier and you can actually sort of hang your doll on them. Please don't attempt this with a regular needle. You will also need embroidery floss or upholstery thread. And there we have it. Let's get going with the tutorial. So we want our arms to be positioned just at the neckline. You don't want them too high, otherwise it's going to look like she's shrugging. That's just too high. Or too low, otherwise it's not going to look like it's coming out of her dress. Once you're happy with the position, you're going to want to take some pins and just try it out. Position the arm so that the opening is on the back. Place the arm so that it is running along the seam of the doll. That's the side seam. And pop your pins in. The button will be placed right in the center of the top of the arm. Take your dressmaker's chalk. I'm using a yellow so that it shows up on my dolly. And make a dot right underneath your button on the fabric, on the top of the arm. You're going to then want to remove the arm very carefully and slowly and pop a dot right on the other side of the arm and directly underneath it on the body. Repeat this on the other side. You want your arms to be absolutely parallel across the body and you want those dots to be parallel too. As you can see in the diagram, those dots are going to be our channel for our needle, so we need them to be absolutely perfect, please. A tip with these pencils, I'm afraid to say, is to lick them, otherwise they just don't show up. Now we get our needle. I've double threaded it. It's upholstery thread this time, and I've put a double knot in the end. I'm going to take my pins out because I know that I already have my marks there, so I can't go wrong. Start with a little stitch in the side. Don't worry, you're not going to see the end because it's going to be under the arm, but you're anchoring it into the side of the doll's body and making it nice and secure. Try not to hook the arm in like I do. Right, now it's anchored. So we're going to take our arm, we're going to find that dot, and we're going to push the needle through so that it is perfectly through that dot and through one of the holes in your button, like so. Pull this through and then into the other side of the buttonhole. Through the buttonhole, through your dot again, and then into the dot on the body, on the side of the body, and you're aiming to go through the entire body to the other dot on the other side of the doll. Keep your thread really nice and loose. There's no need to be pulling it tightly at this point. You're just trying to make sure that that needle, there it is, comes out the other side on our dot. It's that easy. Now pull it all the way through very gently. Again, you don't have to pull this tightly at all at this point. Keep it so that it's really mobile. Take your other arm and we're going to go through the dot on the underside of the arm and out through the dot on the top of the arm and grab your button and go through one of your buttonholes. Try not to drop it like me. Oh my goodness, I feel like such a pro at these YouTube videos, dropping buttons, getting little limbs caught up in threads. Eat your heart out, Martha Stewart. Okay, go through your second buttonhole, through to the back or on your underside of your arm, and now we're going to go through that dot again and through the entire body out to the other side of your doll, to the other arm in essence. This is where it can get a little bit tricky because you're wanting that needle to stay really parallel through the doll's body. This is why I always like using long needles on small dolls. Also, it's very easy to keep it parallel. Now you can go backwards and forwards through the doll's body about 4 times, especially on this size doll. This part is a little bit tricky. You're wanting to get that tip of that needle directly in that hole. So I'll do a close-up right now so that you can see what I'm trying to do. There it is. There's the tip of the needle coming through. I'm going to go through that exactly same, that hole, and out through the hole in the button. Peekaboo! It is a little bit fiddly the first time, but honestly, you'll get the hang of it very, very quickly. And now Dolly is essentially hanging on the needle. We're going to pull everything through, and now is the time that we're going to tighten it just a tad. Now, obviously, I would be going through backwards and forwards through the same process on the doll at least 4 to 5 times, as I've mentioned. On smaller dolls, you don't have to do it this many times, but this is a large doll and we want her to be able to hug and cuddle her new best friend. However, for this tutorial, one, I didn't cut enough thread because I didn't think I was going to pass through this many times, but also I just want to keep it nice and quick for you guys. So I'm going to pull it out, pull the needle through to the other side one last time, and then I'll show you how I'm going to tie off in a second. So assuming we've done all the pass-throughs we want, this is our last time, now we're going to cinch it in. You don't want it too tight, be careful because otherwise it will pinch the neck in. Now obviously it does depend on your stuffing, but you're going to want to pull it nicely and tightly so it's nice and firm on both sides of the doll. Thread the needle through the button and the arm and take it out on the back side of the arm. There are a number of methods for tying off. Some people can just snip the threads here and tie it in a double knot. Personally, I like it to be a bit more resilient because this isn't an art doll. This is a doll that will be played with kids. You can also tie it around the actual thread itself and tie a knot. As you can see, I'm attempting to here, but I actually don't have enough thread. But my favorite method is the one that I'm going to show you now. It's super secure. You're going to actually make a stitch in the body of the doll and pull it really taut and tight. You're then going to, you can do this twice, 3 times even if you want, but then you're going to want to wrap your thread around the joint itself and we'll snip it and tie it in a knot. There's our knot. And again, you don't need to snip that if your thread is long enough. So prepared. I am so prepared for this tutorial. Right, double knot it securely. I do another twist around. I get really aware of kiddies with these arms. They're actually way tougher than you expect, but it's just force of habit, I think, with me. Now I'm going to hide these threads inside the doll. I'm just grabbing my doll needle, but you can use a nice short needle. It really doesn't matter. And I need a threader because I'm completely blind. Hide the thread inside Dolly and there you have it. She's all done. And she's so super cute and ready to be posed and played with. I really hope this helped you and you're not afraid of making button jointed dolls anymore. They are so darling and I would love to see any that you've made with my Dolls and Daydreams patterns. Please feel free to leave a link below or maybe even in my Facebook group. Thank you so much. Please subscribe, give me a thumbs up and very happy sewing. Oh, and join me here next week.